If you are in a relationship, and you often lose your temper over trivial matters, have a particularly irritable character, and are very prone to anger, with very unstable emotions, it's not because you have a bad temper. Psychologically speaking, it's because you have suffered too many grievances and injuries, so you are accustomed to using aggression to protect yourself. These grievances and traumas mainly come from two aspects. One aspect is what? Your past growth and experiences, and the other is from your present situation. For example, if a child grows up in a family full of uncertainty and instability, the characteristics of the family environment mentioned, such as the unpredictability of parents' emotions, and the accompanying verbal or physical violence, or complete emotional neglect, together weave a background that is not conducive to the development of psychological health. In such an environment, in order to survive, children have to be on guard all the time. There is no stable sense of security in their world, only survival strategies for constantly adapting to and predicting the emotional fluctuations of adults. This long-term high tension not only suppresses the child's self-expression and exploration but also severely hinders the healthy growth of the inner child. The inner child, a psychological concept, refers to the part deep inside us that retains the feelings, needs, and traumas of childhood. When this inner child does not receive enough care, understanding, and affirmation, it will stay in an injured state, affecting the individual's emotional processing ability and social adaptability after adulthood. Therefore, when these children grow up, they often appear particularly vulnerable when facing the challenges and pressures of life. They lack effective coping mechanisms because they did not have the opportunity to learn how to deal with negative emotions healthily during their childhood. Even minor setbacks in daily life can trigger deep panic and despair within them, making them feel isolated and helpless, as if the whole world is against them. In contrast, those who grow up in an environment full of love and support are more likely to have strong psychological resilience and can face difficulties more calmly and rationally. In addition, these early experiences can also lead to the formation of unhealthy thinking patterns and behavioral habits in individuals, such as excessive sensitivity, self-doubt, and avoiding problems, further exacerbating the difficulties they face in dealing with life's challenges as adults. Therefore, recognizing the impact of these early experiences on an individual's current psychological state is the first step towards self-healing and growth. Through psychological counseling, emotional education, and positive self-reflection, individuals can gradually learn to rebuild inner balance, allowing the injured inner child to receive the care and growth that is overdue, thus becoming stronger and more confident in the face of life's storms. So, when you grow up, if you always find it particularly difficult to stabilize your emotions and often get angry over a little thing, it means that your inner child has not grown up. When you encounter something similar to when you were a child, your traumatic experience will be activated. Let me give a simple example. If your parents always failed to keep their promises to you, and after you get married, if your partner also fails to keep promises, you will be dragged into a similar disappointment as in your childhood. Your heart will return to a childlike state, abandoning the problem-solving methods of an adult, and you will cry and make a fuss like a child, and break things. What is the root cause of all this? It is that you hope the other party can give you the emotional response you did not get when you were a child. There is no one in the world who is naturally irritable. All personalities are formed later, and they are the social behaviors formed in the process of your parents getting along with you. What else is it? It is also that the people you meet now are not good, they are inducing you to become irritable. For example, your partner is an avoidant attachment, or he is a person who cannot understand you, not only can't give you enough response, but even when conflicts arise between you two, he will pretend to be dead. He won't cooperate with anything you ask him to do, and he will only move when you get angry. So gradually, you will get used to expressing your purpose by losing your temper. This is especially true if you used to have a good temper and a gentle character, but after falling in love or getting married, you become more and more irritable and emotionally unstable. What is the most likely reason? It is because the other party is emotionally ignoring you, he is using avoidance and indifference to attack you. Because the essence of human beings is to pursue being seen. If the other party always ignores you, does not respond to your emotions, and does not respond to your needs, then over time it will naturally stimulate this sense of insecurity in your subconscious. In interpersonal relationships, especially intimate relationships, the concept of being loved goes far beyond superficial care and companionship. It is profoundly reflected in whether the other party can fully see and accept every aspect of you, whether it is an advantage or a disadvantage. This kind of love is like a mirror, reflecting the best of you, making you feel self-growth and improvement in such relationships. It makes you believe that you are worthy of being loved and motivates you to become a better self. Without this deep-level recognition and acceptance, it is difficult for individuals to find self-harmony and satisfaction in relationships, and a sense of emptiness and loss will breed in the heart. I said that being truly loved is to be fully seen and accepted, to feel that you are getting better and better in the other person. If you lack such love, it is difficult for you to find a consistent feeling in this intimate relationship, and you are prone to fall into a deep sense of fear and anxiety. You will try very hard to grab the other party and get enough sense of security from the other party, understand? The more insecure a person is inside, the more likely they are to have a stress response. A little thing in life can activate this traumatic experience in your heart, leading to excessive release. So you always lose your temper over a little thing. What is the logic behind his behavior? Most likely it is a replay of emotions, an overprotective stress response. It can be said that if a person wants to be emotionally stable and become gentle, it is not about suppressing yourself or lowering your voice. Instead, you have to realize that your irritability comes from a sense of insecurity in your subconscious, a helplessness in your heart. Only when you realize this point can you know how to correct it. If your irritability stems from your early trauma, you must always remember that there is a saying in psychology called seeing is healing. The psychological concept of seeing is healing emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and acceptance. This means that first, you must bravely face and admit the unease and helplessness in your heart, and recognize the deep-seated reasons hidden behind emotional fluctuations, such as emotional deprivation or traumatic experiences during childhood. When we start to face these scars instead of escaping or denying their existence, we have already taken the first step in healing. This process requires courage and patience, but it is also a key part of personal growth and emotional maturity. Through self-reflection and professional psychological counseling, individuals can learn how to identify their emotional triggers and understand the real needs and unmet emotions behind each emotional outburst. This is not just about controlling your temper, but more about repairing inner wounds and meeting the lack of inner needs, gradually filling the void of love and security in childhood through positive self-care and constructive coping strategies. You must first see your trauma. You must realize that every time you are angry and aggrieved, it comes from not being well nurtured when you were a child. Only after seeing it can you know how to correct your own feelings and how to meet the lack of that part of your heart, understand? Otherwise, you will never grow up. Of course, if you find that the other person is problematic and they are always inducing you either intentionally or unintentionally to become hysterical and emotionally unstable, then what you need to do is to screen in time and stay away in time. Because this person is hard to change. If you find that no matter what you do, the other party is unsatisfactory and cannot be polished at all, then you have to learn to stop the loss. Don't explain, don't self-prove, just stay away.